So what's up, guys? What's funny is that I wanted to do this episode with different topics or whatever, and then do the top tens and everything else. I recorded it and I was gonna put it together this morning when I woke up to a new Avengers trailer, and I'm like, "Oh Lord!" Now I had a decision: do I add it to the podcast, change it up, put it on quick takes? And I just decided to change this up. So all the other topics will be on quick takes, and I'm going to be talking about the Avengers trailer on this one. Welcome, guys, to the 117th edition of the Take One podcast. I am the host, August C. Jones, and without further more, let's jump right into it. So the third Avengers trailer, I like to look at it as a teaser because that's really all that these trailers have been. And at this point, I'm not mad. I'm not frustrated. I'm just like, if they give us another trailer, they give us another trailer. I don't care. I'm just ready to see this damn movie. I'm truly am. And that's not out of frustration. It's just, I'm ready to see this movie. Really am. These trailers have not done too much to hype me up, but let's dive into it. So the third trailer has dropped, and we see a lot of weird things in this trailer. We really do. In the other trailers, what we've seen so far is Steve without his beard, Natasha looking like her hair growing a little bit. So some time after in Infinity War happened, and you got Scott Lang coming out of the quantum realm, and you got different things happening, them dealing with the losses and stuff. And this one is kind of taking more of a weird turn because now in this trailer you got Natasha with red hair and it's longer. So it's like, what? She had white hair in Infinity War and then up in the other trailers. So it was like, what happened? And so that kind of got me looking at like the change in time, or just going in time, that you're there. This is the old Natasha. That this isn't the Natasha of new. That probably some of them have gone back in a certain part of life, and they're talking with them and everything else, and letting them know so that they could possibly help. So you're gonna probably have two sets of Avengers happening at the same time. I don't know. And of course you got Steve without his beard. And then you got Scott looking confused. More than likely, it's right after he got out the quantum realm, and it's probably some time after that because he's looking on the pole where there are missing posters of people, and more than likely, it's desolate out there in the world, and he's like, "What the hell just happened? What's going on?" So that what probably leads him to go find, the Avengers and everything else. More than likely, he's probably lost Luis and all the rest of them, so he's trying to figure out where all of his family and friends have gone. Which you can call Luis like his family and stuff, just kind of like it is or whatever. Hawkeye, you see him with his daughter. And I swear to you, when I saw this trailer, I just literally saw a alert on my iPhone, and it said something about the new Avengers trailer. I had to just get up out of it. And so I literally watched this trailer right as I got up. Like literally waking up, saw this, and then instantly come on my, come on YouTube. So a lot of stuff wasn't really clicking. And I don't know if anyone else thought this, but when it showed the scene of Hawkeye teaching his daughter archery, the way it looked like she was aiming the arrow straight at his head. So I literally was expecting, as soon as she let go, that he was to fall down and die. Like, I don't know, like I was just waking up, so I really couldn't process what was actually going on, what was actually real in the scene. But it's like when it happened, I'm like, why was I thinking that way? So, but yeah, he's teaching his daughter archery. And just by that scene, just showing us that, and then what we seen from Ronan, how he looks, just kind of like a man that's gone through some things when we see him in the first Avengers trailer, is that basically, yeah, he loses his family, and we at least have it confirmed somewhat that his daughter is one of those people that got lost. Now, whether he lost his other child or children, I don't know if he had like 2 or 3, but if he lost his other child or children and his wife as well, you know what? Yeah, it was. I think it was 2 other ones because yeah. Anyway, so whether or not he lost the rest of his family, we don't know for sure. But by this trailer, you can really guess that he more than likely lost his daughter. And then we get a shot of Rocket and War Machine looking like they're preparing to jump into battle with whom, it could be with a lot of people, a lot of creatures, whatever. We don't know. But I'm going to get to that in a little bit. And Steve is in his old Captain America uniform, and it looks like he is in war. So it shows a little bit more of that scene where he's strapping on his shield. So more than likely we can guess that it happens in the past. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. And you see him all dirtied up like he's in war, and he looks like just his facial expressions look like he's in war. So yeah, and then you got Nebula. Nebula is on Earth. So it had me thinking that ship in the second Avengers trailer, I believe, but it was like either the first one or the second one, the Endgame trailers, where Steve, Steve, Natasha, War Machine, and Banner are all walking toward the ship that's landing down. Obviously, by seeing Captain Marvel, we know it's not her. I'm not going to give anything away for anybody who hasn't seen Captain Marvel, but we know it's not her. Thor is already there, so more than likely it is Nebula and Tony, which I will get to that, but we do see Nebula walking with them in their quantum suits, as like I think that they are, the white with the Avengers logo and everything else, and she's walking around with everybody else, and along beside her you have Tony Stark, and it's like, man, the gang is back together. Everybody is coming to wreck shop. It just seemed like they are ready for this war or this mission that they're trying to do. And it just, you hear Black Widow talking about it like they need to do this. They're doing something, and it's not really saying what. But it was good to see Tony Stark and the rest of them all together, just walking intently like they are about to change some shit. They about to wreck something. Something is about to happen, and it won't be pretty for whoever is involved on the opposite end. So, man. And then it ends off with one of the best end tags to any of the Endgame trailers, where Thor is looking at Captain Marvel dead in the face, and he holds his arms out, he holds his hand out, calling to Stormbreaker. It comes to him. She doesn't even flinch. Her hair moves. She doesn't flinch at all. Her eyes just move like she just saw something, just something go right past her. And he sets it down and looks at her. And he looks at it, gives a deep breath, and says, "I like this one." And that is one of the best end tag scenes I've seen in a while. I love that. And it just got me, I say a little bit more hype. I'll lie. It's got me a little bit more hyped for this movie and what it has. I truly want to see it. I was rushing because I was 100% sure that this trailer was going to be the one where it says tickets are available now, and I was gonna rush and get my tickets, but nope, tickets still not on sale. We still haven't gotten that trailer that gave us a lot, but hey, maybe they're holding a lot of it back due to the fact of they don't want to give too much out, being that Kevin Feige has said everything that was shown in the previous trailers is everything within the first 30 minutes. So, hey, maybe it's a lot that they don't want to divulge and give out. So, I don't know. Like, I don't think that we're going to get a big trailer that we are expecting. I think they're just going to make us wait, and simply, I'm okay with that. I am simply okay with that. But yeah, that's all really I have to say about the trailer. It's not really not too much happened. A little bit more different scenes or whatever. But hey, I mean, it was an okay trailer. It was an okay trailer. I liked it. I'm just ready and waiting for the movie to actually come out and for me to actually see it. So yeah. So let's go ahead and jump right into the top 10 countdowns. And so first I'm going to be starting off with the best of 2018. And I'm not going to talk too long on this or whatever. I'm going to try and get through these as quick because I'm not going to make this a long podcast. So starting off with number 10 is Love, Simon. This is a movie that I didn't really have any expectations going into it. Went into it, absolutely loved it. By the end of the movie, I was pleasantly surprised of how much I enjoyed the movie. It had like relatable characters, likable characters. It had a lot of funny, awkward moments that were really good. It was like heartfelt. It was one of those movies where you go in and you just identify with just the main character and how he maneuvers through it, and just get how he is. You know, he's a gay kid who hasn't came out, but he's trying to figure out life, of living this double life of everybody thinking he's straight, but he's not. And it's just the kind of like struggle that he's going through. And I truly love the movie. Number 9 is Tag. I'm not really a person that goes after comedies or, you know, that just, you know, really, those aren't really my type of movies. I'm more of an action horror type guy and all that stuff. But Tag was a movie that really intrigued me because of its premise and just it being an actual, based off real life people in an actual game that they play. It was more of a bonus. But I love this movie. I truly loved it. It was so funny. It got me engaged throughout, like just from the beginning to the end. Like it starts off with a bang. Like it literally grabbed me from there, and just it was just funny as hell. Like it did its job as a comedy. I truly just love this film. It was one of the better comedies of last year. I wasn't taken by game night. This was an actual game-like movie that I really enjoyed. And recently I've been seeing a lot of people watching it and really enjoying it too. So I'm happy for that. So that's why I had made it on my list. Number 8, surprisingly, what I was just talking about, Aquaman. Aquaman was a movie to where I had a lot of doubt going into like Aquaman, like I say maybe almost a month going into it until I started hearing about the reviews for it and how everybody was saying it was good, it was outstanding. They got me a little bit hyped for it, and actually watching it and realizing that they just went all balls out. You know, James Wan just went in there, he just did his thing, and Jason Momoa just had fun with the character. I enjoyed him in Justice League as Aquaman, and he just took it, he just had fun with it. Like everything that came out about this movie was just fun. That's basically what I got from this movie. And it was one of those movies where you just go in, you just have a good time, and that's basically what it was. Hits over $1 billion, more than what anybody would expect, more than any movie in the BVS universe, and I'm happy that it did it because it was a real good and enjoyable movie. After that, it is number 7, which is Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2. I enjoyed it way more than the first one. I did like the first one, but this one just took it there. Like the jokes, how they executed everything, the fighting, and just the action scenes were taken. Like the story, I'm not gonna give it away, but what motivated Wade Wilson, what motivated him to do what he was doing in the movie was perfect, and just how it ended was good. Like just, this is another comic book movie where they just had fun with it, with the writing, the acting, and just everything that they did in it. You could tell that they had fun, and I had fun with this movie. I was dying laughing and just cracking up by the end of it, and the 2 end credit scenes are just crazy as hell. Number 6 is Blindspotting, another movie I went into. Actually, I had expectations for it. I wanted to like it. I didn't think it was going to be good. But I ended up truly enjoying the hell out of this movie. This movie was deeper and it was better than what I even expected. It touched on certain things in society, certain real things that happens in society that a lot of people need to talk about and get out there and just try and solve a problem with it and everything else. And just the acting and just the chemistry between the main character and his best friend and how everything is working out. And it was a movie that I was surprised that I ended up really, really, really appreciating. And it was a movie, well, it's a movie that I think everybody should be looking for and trying to give a chance because it was really, really good. It's called Blindspotting. Check it out. Number 5, Ready Player One. Another movie that I didn't have too many high expectations for it, but I went into it and came out a believer. This movie I truly loved, from just the action scenes to just the dialogue, the actors, and the story and everything and how everything played out. Just the overall look, the visuals. This wasn't a movie where it's supposed to look realistic. This is a movie that it takes place in a gaming world, so you're dealing with a lot of gaming type styles and everything else. And I'm sure like a gamer would appreciate this movie a little bit more, but I truly appreciate it, especially with like a lot of the cameos from just other pop culture type things, from Chucky to Joker and Harley Quinn to Gundam. The Iron Giant. You got all these things, especially the scene of The Shining. I'm not going to give it away, especially if you haven't seen it, but that was one of my favorite scenes of the movie. If you haven't seen it, Ready Player One, definitely go check it out. Number 4, Black Panther. Just seen it again this year. The third time of me seeing it in theaters. I've seen it in theaters twice last year. This year I bumped it up after I saw it. I bumped it up. I did alter this one, but I bumped it up because I saw it again and I just truly loved it. From just the cultural significance that it has, especially what it touches on, from it being an all-black cast, director and writer and everything else, and and just everything that they did with it. Like, it was first and foremost a great comic book movie. And just it being a black superhero as well as a black cast with a black culture just surrounding it, black soundtrack with Kendrick Lamar hitting it, everything just blended together. Everything was explosive. It was funny. The action was good. Some of the CG was kind of but majority of the CG worked for it, and just the visuals and everything, the style of it, you just feel it. And as a black person, it makes you feel proud. Makes you feel like it gives you a sense of pride. Just looking at something like this and just not seeing it as just a black movie, but a great comic book movie, and not only that, a great movie period, with it winning Oscars at the Oscars, and I really did enjoy it, and it was one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I don't know what number it is, but it is. Number 3, Green Book. I just put my review out for it on my channel. It just came out on on to stream on all that stuff. But it was a movie that is just simply about the characters. It was character driven. These two characters who have to be on the road for months at days, weeks, months at a time, and just them two unlikely people who have two different backgrounds, two different personalities, end up clashing, but at the same time having this friendship with each other that you wouldn't think that they would. And they are two different races, a white guy and a black guy, at a time where it wasn't cool for black people or just a white person to be friends with a black person. And just how everything played out, and just the acting was so crazy good, and just how the movie was, the direction of it, and just it was somewhat kind of cookie cutter, some kind of they didn't take it like go hard with it, but at the same time it was a family type film, and that's what I got from it. And I just love that aspect of it. So, hey, I mean, I truly love this film. Number 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This was a movie where I didn't know what to expect from it. I didn't think it was necessary when I first heard about it, but after seeing it, this movie was necessary. This was a necessary movie to have. The visuals, the style of just the animation, the story, the characters, and how everything blended together. I thought that having like multiple Spider-Men or Spider people in the movie besides Miles Morales would take the, kind of like everything off of that main character, and it didn't. It only boosted his character to where he needed to be, and I really enjoyed it. The bad guys were good. Everything surrounded around it, and just the voice acting, everything fit. The soundtrack to it is just as good, if not better, than Black Panther, which kind of like elevated just this movie to where higher standards, because it was just all around. It was a great movie, a great theater experience, and I truly, truly, truly love this film. And at number 1, if you guys have not guessed it, you probably did. I seen it 9 times in theaters last year. Probably might, if they put it in theaters again, I probably might see it again this year. It's Avengers Infinity War. This was a movie culminating to one singular movie. I ain't gonna say it's the end all, but it was a villain that was built up through several movies, and it just came to a head where you got characters that wasn't in movies together that clashed, and just how it worked out, the balance of characters, the visuals, how Thanos looked. I mean, it was Oscar nominated for its visuals, and just the characters, how they clashed together and like just bounced off each other, the chemistry, whether they liked each other, didn't play well together, and just how that was. You can tell that they had lots of fun with this. Even though you can have fun with this movie and had its like light moments, it still was a dark movie at the end of the day. And if you haven't seen it, which a lot of you probably should have seen it by now, you already know by the end of it, it's not a happy ending. And yeah, that movie was it was good. I wish it would have been longer, but this is a movie where the experience, every time I think about it, it gives me chills. Just thinking about the first time that I saw it, and what was running through my mind, how my heart was beating, because I was so excited to see this movie, and I'm happy that I saw it. But before we get into the worst, let me name off my honorable mentions. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to name them off. But it's Bohemian Rhapsody, Instant Family, Mission Impossible Fallout, A Quiet Place, Gringo, and Overlord. Now, because I took too long on the best, I'm going to try and get through the worst as quick as possible. And so with that said, at number 10 is Proud Mary. Now, Proud Mary is a movie where it was seemingly out of the range of where Taraji P. Henson has really been in. She's triumphed with comedies and dramas more, especially with that. But when it comes to these type of movies, it seems somewhat out of her wheelhouse. And in this movie, you can see it, because it's not really all her fault, because she did a decent job in her part, but it was just surrounded by just seemingly bad direction, bad acting, bad writing, just poor decision making, and just it was a movie that probably could have been better with just different aspects of it just changed. Maybe a different director, writer, just maybe a different actress portraying the role, or just a better director to show what they need to do to make this a little bit better. I don't know, but it was just a overall bad experience for me, and it was just like a forehead like smack when I was just watching it, and it was just But number 10 is Robin Hood, a movie I saw last year. Was wondering why I didn't have that much promotion. Once I saw it, I was like, okay, I see why. And it had promise. It had certain things, certain aspects to it that did kind of work, but it was very small aspects. For the overall movie was just completely just garbage. And I'm just like, why? why. I went to an early screening, but that was really only because they was giving out a free glass with it, and I was just like, hey, I want it, and let me just go get it. And yeah, I was very disappointed by the movie. I didn't have expectations for it, but it was one of those movies where it was like, yeah, you can go ahead and skip this, and it set up for a sequel that will never, ever, ever happen. At number 8, Winchester. Advertised as a horror film, wasn't scary. It was, they could have done something special with this, but they didn't. And I'm just like, what the hell? It was just, I don't know, it's cliche horror done just executed just poorly. You go into it and it's just the story wasn't engaging, the characters weren't engaging, the development of the characters, the backstory and all the stuff really wasn't engaging, and it was just a poor execution of what could have been a creative and done better type movie, and it just wasn't. At number 7, we have Show Dogs, a movie I really didn't care for. I took my son and I was just bored throughout the whole movie. It had certain things that was just lined up that just was not funny at all. And it was one of those movies where you just kind of like, how much money did they get paid to be in this movie? They read the script and actually like signed on to, be in this film. I mean, I guess it's different from when you read it and when you're actually like recording it, but this was a movie where, yeah, nah, you can tell that it wasn't going to be a good movie. You could just simply tell. But I brought my son, so it was. If he enjoyed it, hey, it's whatever. Number 6, The Nun, another horror film that was not scary at all. It was a far cry from the Conjuring universe. The Conjuring being one of my favorite horror films of all time, and it was just a cliche, just horror film, just paint by numbers, and it wasn't scary. I was in it and I was just, am I supposed to be scared? I wasn't creeped out or anything. It really didn't have anything to offer, and it made connections to the Conjuring franchise that it was just kind of a poor movie. If you enjoyed it, hell, whatever. I simply just did not enjoy it because it was just not a good movie. Deep Blue Sea 2, a movie that didn't touch the theaters, and I know why. Because it's the same exact movie as the first one. That's really all I need to say about it. The acting was like this one was basically a ripoff of the first. I mean, this one was a ripoff of the first one. Everything that the first one did right, even if you look at it as a guilty pleasure, it's still enjoyable. It's still a good movie. I still enjoy it. This one was just a blatant ripoff of the first one. Did the same exact thing, but with everything just executed wrong as hell. If you were looking at, like, if they did the first one wrong, the second one is exactly like it. It's just, there's nothing really to say more about this movie. Is that it's literally the same movie, but it's just a bad version of it. And yeah, that's why I made it on this list. Number 4, The Predator, a movie where I'm just like, wow. The director in this, he's a person that does good movies. I don't know why this movie was the way it was. It had potential to be good, it had a potential to be great, and it just didn't touch that. It went for a more comedy based type, like, I guess horror film, horror thriller, I don't know, but it just did it all wrong. And it was another one of those movies where it ended off to where it's like, okay, we're planning on making another one, and then just the box office says no, you're not, you're just not. And the audience said it too, and the critics said it too. This movie was just bad. Number 3, which I'm surprised myself was at number 3 because I truly hated this film, which is Strangers Pray at Night, which is the sequel to the movie The Strangers, and it was bad. It was full with bad decisions. I have my review up on it. on my channel if you go check it out. But yeah, this is a movie where the first one set up, put them in a situation to where, yeah, they're going to have trouble getting out of. This movie was set in a situation to where they can easily get out of, but chose not to choose it. And after that, I just blanked out the movie. This movie just completely fell off. This was a movie that you could tell by the trailer was made for the new audience, and they didn't have to do much. They just had to make a horror film, and that's it. No thought really put into it and making it good. Certain things that the first one set up, they just kind of just threw it out the window and just completely crashed it into the ground, crashed the plane into the ground, and that's exactly what you got. It's not a train wreck, it is a plane crash, one of the most horrific plane crashes of all time. Number 2, Holmes and Watson was a movie that I wanted to check out. I didn't have too much faith into it, but I'm thinking like, hey, I may get some excitement out of it, some enjoyment, and I was like, right. It was just horrible. It was just horrible. Just a bad movie. I contemplated walking out of the movie several times. I didn't. I wanted to stick it out to the end. And this was one of those movies where the first scene shows you what you're in for, and the rest of the movie just went downhill completely. It was not funny, and it was just bad. Just horrible. Number 1 is not a movie that touched theaters, but it was a movie blatantly just like Deep Blue Sea 2, trying to rip off of just a rip off of the first one, but did it poorly. It was Tales from the Hood 2. It's a lot to say about this movie, but it did what the first one did, but horribly. It had the same setup, basically the same exact movie as the first one, just different. And just seeing the shit weirdly 15 times throughout the movie, it just does not make it good. It does an injustice to the first one, which is, if you look at it as a guilty pleasure, a good guilty pleasure. This one was just guilty at being horrible, just bad. And yeah, it's worse than Holmes and Watson. I say, I had to think about it, and it's worse than Holmes and Watson because it's supposed to be a horror film, and it just did not deliver at all. Just hard. It just did not deliver at all. But yeah. So before I get right into the most anticipated of this year, I'm about to get into some quick dishonorable mentions, which is not that many, which is The Possession of Hannah Grace and Annihilation. I know a lot of people like that. I truly didn't. So yeah, it's a dishonorable mention. But yeah, that wraps up the worst of 2018. So let's go ahead and get right into the most anticipated movies of 2019. So coming off at number 10 is Detective Pikachu, a movie that I wasn't certain about, just like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse beforehand when it got announced, but after seeing the first trailer and everything leading up to even just right now, or even up to the time I made this list, yeah, I was really anticipating, like, this movie looked like it's going to be good, like it's going to be fun, like it's going to be action packed, and just knowing what I know right now, I'm glad I did put it on the list. Yeah, it's real comfortable at number 10. Like I said, I ain't touch anything on this list. So yeah, it's comfortable at number 10. Number 9, episode 9. Don't know anything about it too much. Haven't seen a trailer, a teaser, or anything for it, but it is a movie I am anticipating. That's why it's at number 9. It's kind of poetic, you know, episode 9, it's at number 9. So yeah, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so yeah, it's not going to be in the top 5 for me. It's a movie that right now, until I see something, maybe I have more excitement for it, but I kind of like forget that it's even coming out this year and everything else. Number 8, Lion King. Why not? Do I even have to explain why it's on the list? Especially after seeing the trailers that we saw of her on Thanksgiving. Do I even have to explain why it's on the list? Number 7 was Alita Battle Angel. It already came out, I know. But even like last year, seeing the trailers, it looked like it was going to be good. And yeah, that movie was good, you know. But my excitement for it was at a high, just seeing everything that it offers, it's just from the trailers, the visual effects and everything else. And I'm glad I did put it on the list because, I really did enjoy it and everything else. But I'm going to put out my review for it soon. Put it out soon. Number 6, Spider-Man Far From Home. I believe I made this list. Yeah, I made this list before we even saw a trailer for it or whatever. But since it is Marvel, it's going to go on the list. Well, MCU Marvel, it's going to go on the list. And I did enjoy Homecoming, and anything that's, Marvel is putting out is going to be good. So, yeah, I don't even really have to explain. It's on the list. It's on the list. After that, at number 5, Shazam, which I'm going to go see next week. But even before then, the Comic-Con trailer set it off for me. It looked amazing. It was funny. Just the way the trailer was cut. Yeah, this movie looked like it's going to be loads of fun. And even after seeing Aquaman, man, got me excited. And if this one is good, it got me excited for what the walls of DC has in store for me. So number 4, John Wick 3. I think the third one is called Parabellum, where he is like, he's on the lam. He has no help, so he has to go at it alone and find resources where he can find them, allies where he can find them, and everything else. And it looks like hopefully it will be a conclusion. I mean, this doesn't need to go any further. We don't need a 4th, 5th, 6th John Wick. We just need a third one. Hopefully this one wraps it up in a nice little bow. And from the trailer, it looks like it's going to be badass, and I definitely cannot wait to see this. Number 3 was Glass, a movie that at Comic-Con, me seeing it along with Shazam was one of the best things coming out of Comic-Con as far as trailers, and it looked like it's going to be good. Knowing beforehand, when I saw Split, having the sense that maybe this is where they were going, and finding out that that's where they were going, the culmination of Unbreakable and Split ending off in Glass, or not ending off, but coming together in Glass, it was a movie that I was really, really, really anticipating. How I felt about it was totally different, but my anticipation for it beforehand was real. It was real. Number 2, a movie I just saw, Captain Marvel. I truly love, like I said, MCU films are always going to get me hype. And this movie, I was really hyped for it after seeing the trailers for it and everything else. It was a movie that I definitely was trying to see. And number 1, of course, Avengers Endgame. Why would it be anything else? Why? Just simply, why would it be anything else? And I mean, it's enough said about that. If Infinity War was my most anticipated film for 2018, why not Endgame be my most anticipated film of this year? And you guys should know why. I seen Infinity War 9 times in theaters last year, and maybe Endgame, if it's better or as good as Infinity War, I may end up seeing it that many or maybe more this year. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, that is my most anticipated list. So let me quickly run off the honorable mentions. So just to mention first off that some of these movies have already came out. So yeah, this list was already made prior. Some of them I did add some to it. So yeah, I did do some adjusting, but that's after I seen it. But What Men Want, Toy Story 4, Men in Black International, Joker, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Don't know if that movie is truly coming out this year, but I put it on the list. Hobbs and Shaw, The Prodigy, Us, Aladdin, Pet Cemetery, The Curse of La Llorona. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Brightburn, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Escape Room. So those were some of the honorable mentions, and those are the honorable mentions because some of them came out and some haven't came out yet. So yeah, that wraps that up, as well as it wraps up this whole podcast. Like, thank you guys for joining me for this unintended long podcast. I'm gonna try and make these top 10s a little bit shorter and everything else, but it's a work in progress. I'm still working on everything, but that wraps it up. And I like to thank you guys for joining me, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Hey, before you guys leave, make sure you hit that like button as well as that subscribe button. And you see that little bell? Make sure you hit that to turn on your notifications. That way you'll be notified for anything that appears on my channel. Hope to see you guys next time. Peace out.